Hey everyone, it's Kim. I wanted to hop on to share a little insight that was coming up for me today about, impact, the impact that we have just being, just sitting here breathing in whatever consciousness we're in, and how a lot of us, we really fail to understand this or recognize this at all. And in our society where we're taught so much that your value is in your doing. Like, what did you create today? Were you productive today? Or just look at even over, not just today, but like, a 10-year period, like, what's my value? And we really fail to understand that not only is our being and our just sitting here being, breathing, impactful and actually, matters, like materializes, but that it's the greatest factor, the number one determining factor of everything in your life. So as a physician, seeing how important that is to determine your health, right? Because we understand psychoneuroimmunology. Every thought you have is creating chemical responses, genetic impact in your body, turning on health or turning on disease. We understand that from like the physiological, physical standpoint, but what I think a lot of people don't get, and obviously even that first part, a lot of doctors don't get, but what I think a lot of people, even who are really aware of this, don't understand that it's not just the impact you are having on your body, that you are emanating an electromagnetic field. You are emanating a signal. You are emanating like a broadcast, like a broadcast that will have impact. That's way bigger than anything you could do. And then whatever you do is obviously going to like carry that consciousness. So it's going to be even more powerful. But we've got to like start to reverse engineer this instead of thinking like, I have to do. How can I make my life better? How can I have more abundance? How can I have a bigger impact in the world? It's vice versa, right? Like, okay, let me, harness gratitude. Let me do this. Let me do that. No, it's vice versa. How can I be in a state of well-being, of peace, of love, of joy, even just a little bit to a little bit higher degree, so that my whole life can change, so that my whole world could change? This is really the question we need to be asking and looking at is, how can I be that could create something unthinkable in my life today, something unthinkable in my world today? And then don't judge like, oh my God, well, I'm in fear, so that's not good. Actually just have compassion for the fear, have compassion for what you notice, have compassion for what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, what you're sensing, whatever that is, right? Because you might notice like, wow, I'm in a lot of attachment right now. I'm in a lot of fear right now. I'm in a lot of judgment right now. Great, because noticing it, being in that state and noticing it it's already a higher frequency than being in that state and, being unconscious and not having any awareness at all. This message is so helpful to someone with chronic fatigue. Thank you. Thank you, Nadine, for noting that. Yeah, because especially that's what happens. It's why we get chronic fatigue. We burn ourselves out in my doing is my value, my doing is my value. And so then we try to get more value out of doing, and we fail to recognize that the greatest value we can possibly have is our being. I'm freezing, so I'm going to stand in the sunny spot here. And this is the whole premise of the Be the Medicine program, and why I've created it as I've created it is because I see so many amazing awakened beings or practitioners or whatever who are then like getting into the doing and don't realize how can I bring deeper presence to ignite my business, to ignite my life, to ignite my world, to have an impact on other people that I want to be having. Because we don't do inspired work because we think we live in isolation. Like, it's never just for us. It's always, how can I change the world? How can I have an impact? How can I make other people come into a higher state as well and begin to see what I see? So always remember, it's about my being. And if I begin to honor my being and turn up the volume on that, that's like such a powerful way to manifest. The Be the Medicine program starts. We have a 4-month program. The first part of it, I think, is like kind of the most powerful. We did the workshop last week and got into a little bit of this, but the first piece is all about my relationship with money. Because if I'm in like a 3-dimensional relationship with money, like separation, lack, fear, then it doesn't really matter what I do because I won't be in abundance. I won't create abundance in my life, and I can't really create abundance for other people either. But if I shift that and I'm like, I'm fluid, right? I can be in wealth right now as I am, how I am, because I enter a different dimension, a different relationship with everything. That's when we really begin to enter abundance and to live a wealthy life. So this is kind of the first principle, is like, change your relationship with the world as like a separate, like I'm separate from everything, or I'm lacking, or I'm limited, and begin to see I'm one with everything. I'm abundant. So what would it take for me to welcome that into my life? And Wednesday this week in Mind Body TV, I'm going to be talking about that because it's Thanksgiving week. How does gratitude increase our frequency and increase our manifestation of health and wealth? There's like logistics to that, right? It's a science. So that's kind of like the first piece we got to realize, especially for people who are awakening and doing inspired work and wanting to transition from that, like, I got to go to my job. I've got to do this thing. I've got to do that thing. I don't have a choice, to, oh, wait a minute. Let me step into something more fluid. Let me step into something inspiring. What do I want to create? And you get into that wonder and into that higher frequency expression. But if you're carrying that old relationship with money, it's going to kick you in the butt. Like, it's going to oh, why can't I make this work? What do I have to do in my marketing? How do I fill my programs? And it's this graspy energy that's like, now you're not operating in the frequency of your work. So this was a huge, huge, huge thing for me over the last decade of my life that I had to really begin to do, is like to step out of that fear and separation and step more fully into abundance, which takes courage, because all our ideas about money and all our ideas about what it takes to make life work kind of have to fall away. So anyway, there is still space in the Be the Medicine program for people who would like to be a part of that and work with me live. It's at drkimd.com/BTM. If there are questions on that, there's a lot of information on the page, so just feel it out. I know there's a lot of people ready to step into that who understand, like, my life is a reflection of my consciousness, but like, where are the controls and how do I shift that and how do I manifest change? So that's really what the program is about. It's about understanding, like, we are what we're looking for. We are what we're seeking in the world or in our lives or even in others. And so how do I turn up the volume on that so I can experience that for myself, so I can bring that into the world and make the world a more abundant place? So I welcome any questions people have on that. Yes. All right. So the link is at drkimd.com/BTM if you want to feel that out and look that over. But just for everybody, remember, your impact is so, so much more powerful. It's not like this little thing. I remember when I learned psychoneuroimmunology, I started studying this when I was in medical school, like a lot. And it was like, okay, well, our thoughts have an effect on our body and everything, all of our past traumas, all of our past history, everything's affecting our physiology. But I mean, the real thing's going to be, a medical issue. And it was like, no, wow, this isn't just a little thing. This is like 99.999% of what's happening in our body. So, you'd think that, like, especially doing an ER residency and a trauma residency where this is essentially fully left out of the equation, you think like, well, I mean, yeah, we know this is a factor, but it must be a really slight factor, right? No, it's the main, most powerful factor. It's more powerful than any pharmaceutical we've ever studied in the history of medicine. So it's like, why is this being left out? And it's the same thing here. You're like, okay, well, my state of being is going to affect my patients or my clients or my family or my children. But like, the bigger thing is going to be what I'm doing. No, it's not a subtle factor. It's the largest factor. It's the most significant factor. It's the most powerful factor. So if you're interested in delving into this for the 4-month course to master this in some way and really step into the mastery of that inner creator or creatrix, and begin creating your life from a whole new dimension, this is what I've designed the Be the Medicine course for. So I'm really, really excited to be inviting people into that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We are, if you're wondering where I'm standing, we're redoing our driveway. We're like redoing the whole thing. So there's all this like machinery and equipment and we have to park the cars down at the bottom of the hill. We have this big driveway. We live up on a mountain and park the cars down here and like walk up. And my little baby 3-year-old fell asleep in the car. So I'm like, hanging out, waiting for him to wake up. So I thought I would drop in and make a video and say hello and connect. So thank you for tuning in and being here. And I look forward to connecting with you. I'll be live Wednesday for Mind Body TV and speak a little bit more about these same principles. All right, lots of love. I'll see you soon. Bye.